No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Sorry! You were saying?
Hello, Internet Dwellers, and welcome back to Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library, the show where we watch Disney movies and we love it because it's Disney. Well, we don't love all of them, but we love a good chunk of them, right?
Pretty much. Yep,
Yeah, pretty much. I am Jeff, and pretty much over there is TC. Hello, TC.
Hello, Jeff. We've done it. We've made it through another set of 10. We've
know.
reached the monumental 40th episode of our show. This is big. This is a big deal.
It's big, and it's also kind of sad and scary because we only have like 15 or 16 more of these left to go, and we're done.
Oh, don't say that.
We're way past the hump, and I'm a little sad, but I'm cherishing each and every one of these good and or terrible movies that we will be watching. Which I have a feeling after this one, for a little while.
well,
we'll see. I don't know.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. And speaking of our 40th episode, we watched our final year 2000 movie. I know. There was so many of them. There was three.
There's 3. It seems like too many, if I'm being honest. For 1 year of film, wow.
There was 3 Disney movies that came out this year, and unfortunately, I remember none of them for the most part.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, for us, 40 movies have come out in a year because
That
we've
is
been watching
true.
these nonstop.
That is true, because I believe about the time that this episode goes up, we are right around our 1 year anniversary of our first episode of this podcast coming out. Because this is how the world we live in, I got a Facebook memories notification that said watching Snow White like a cool kid on a Sunday night, and it was right around this time. I do believe here. I'm just verifying it, but yeah. Oh, actually, guys, this is hilarious. This episode going up on January 10th is the 1 year anniversary
of the show. Hey,
of the show.
Mazel tov.
Mazel
There we
tov. Funny enough, we've hit 40 movies in exactly 1 year, like to the day. So
Nicely done, sir. Well, we
Nicely
started with
done.
Snow White. We're working our way to Moana, which is the most current of the Disney Animation Studios library. But
Indeed.
today we're discussing number 40, which is Jeffrey.
The Emperor's New Groove.
Cusco.
Oh my goodness. Guys, I don't have a ton of notes, okay? I don't have a lot of notes about this movie. But it doesn't matter because I almost contemplated not even watching this one because I know this one so well. But to pass up an excuse or to pass up a chance to watch Emperor's New Groove, I'm like, no, that's not happening. We're watching this movie.
Did you see this in theaters?
So I did not.
Okay.
This was one of
When
those
did you
movies
see
that
this?
I saw it. I have a very, very vivid memory of it too. I saw this movie I believe in like April, maybe like March or April of 2003. Because I was a senior in high school. We were just a few months shy of graduating, and it was one of those where like we all went over to one of our friends' house, and we all there was probably 15, 20 of us crammed into a basement, and they started playing this movie. I had no idea what this movie was, but that was the first time I'd seen it, and I remember just laughing my butt off, going, "What the crap is this? This is a Disney movie? Are they all like this? Have I missed all
What
of
have I
these?
been missing?
What have I been missing? You know, like I
No,
actually
they're not
thought
all
that.
like this.
No, and I was greatly saddened by that.
I was working at a movie theater at the time, and I remember this preview. I remember the trailer for this movie, and I had to watch this trailer every time it popped up. Anytime I worked in booth and projection, and I started films, and whenever I started a movie that had this preview on it, I had to watch it because it just cracked me up. And despite that, Jeff, despite my need to see the preview for it, I didn't see this in theaters. How stupid is that, right?
Wow, yeah.
That
I'm
I made such
surprised
a
you
point of
didn't.
watching the preview. It just I did a lot when I was in college. I did a lot running theater, full-time job, girlfriend, friends, whatever. when I finally did see this movie, I was floored by it, and obviously we will get into it. But this is a movie that I have seen multiple times. I actually sort of cheated because on my YouTube show, the 1 Minute Rewatch, quick plug. We don't normally do plugs, but a quick plug.
You
for the 1
plugging
Minute Rewatch.
other shows,
I know,
TC?
right? I did an episode where it went from talking about the movie I was supposed to be reviewing, which was Shrek, and turned into talking about The Emperor's New Groove.
Yep.
So after we've talked quite at length about this movie today, if anyone's interested, you can hop over to my show, The 1 Minute Rewatch, and watch me yell about this movie for about 3 minutes.
We will definitely put a link to that video in the description for this on the Facebook page, and I'll also try to put a link into the actual feed for those of you listening on iTunes and Stitcher and all those other ones. So
Thank
so
you
that way
very
people can
much,
watch it. Yes, because it is hilarious. Because that was the one you edited while you were staying at my place, was it not?
Yes, I filmed and edited it while I was staying with you for a few weeks.
So insider tip for those of you out there who listen to the show, if you kind of want to see some of my apartment, you can see it in that video.
He has some wonderful artwork on the wall.
I do, and it's all predominantly displayed behind the awesome looking TC.
I don't know who that guy is, but
Well, neither do I, but somebody paid me to do that. I remember the posters for this movie, even though I never saw it in theaters. I remember because the movie theater in my hometown used to have like hanging posters that would be hanging up, not on the walls, like they didn't have them framed. They did have those as well, but they would also, for certain films, have posters hanging from the ceilings just in the middle of the foyer.
Yeah.
And I remember it's if anybody wants to look for them, they're all on impawards.com, which is the movie poster website. You can find them, but it's the posters of not Kronk. Oh my goodness, why am I spacing on the names? Pacha.
Pacha, there you go.
Pacha and Kuzco. It's their characters against a solid white background with like a big text. Pacha says, "What a hunk." And Kuzco's arm as the llama is in, who added a C in before hunk, so it says, "What a chunk." And then it's the picture of Kuzco that just says, "Woolly bully." I remember seeing those in the theaters and going, "Oh, it's going to be some stupid musical, like kiddie, like little." Because again, I'm in 2000. I was in high school. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to watch some Disney movie. I'm in high school now.
Oh
and,
boy, well, it almost was. It almost was. If we want to get into the history of this movie real quick, this movie has a very fascinating backstory.
Yes.
In fact, there is an unreleased documentary. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Vimeo. You can find it around.
Yep.
It's called The Sweatbox, and it's a documentary about the making of a movie called Kingdom of the Sun, which was going to be Disney's big Oscar contender, another classic film in the making, following all the check marks of what the Renaissance had. And Sting was brought on. He composed and created and sang 8 brand new songs. Only one survived. It's the out of character, really doesn't feel right song you hear during the credits of the movie.
Yeah, and that doesn't that fits not at all, basically. So Kingdom of the Sun was going to be this Prince and the Pauper style film where an emperor, Cusco, of the Incan era of South America, finds a peasant who looks a lot like him. They trade places. David Spade was voicing one of the characters, but Owen Wilson was voicing the other character. Oh, wow. Owen Wilson. Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Don't worry. He went on to voice one of the most successful Pixar characters of all time. So he's fine.
He's okay. I think that guy might be set for his life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you work for Pixar and Disney, you're fine. So, Kingdom of the Sun was this grand Disney musical in the tradition of Lion King and Pocahontas and Hunchback of Notre Dame. And as we've discussed on this show, now Pocahontas and Hunchback, not Lion King, weren't exactly what Disney had hoped for.
Right.
And they had to balk and move away from the traditional Disney animation Renaissance-style pictures, and they were committed to making Kingdom of the Sun as one of those. They did a test screening of what they had so far, and it was the worst test screening audience in the history of Disney's animation studios. So much so that I
man.
mean, it had to have been in the effect of watching George Lucas screen Phantom Menace for the first time, where he's like, "Oh boy, oh boy."
This doesn't work at all.
The realization that they did not have what they thought they were going to have, which is insane because building on this, Eisner was like, "This is hitting all the check marks," and that's a problem. Okay, you should not make a movie to fill certain qualifications. You can't
Right.
take the chemistry that worked before and just try to make it again without a very crucial element, heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Don't just make don't churn out a movie because the audience will know. Any competent film goer is going to see a movie that is just churned out and they'll know. And that's not just Disney, that's all companies, okay?
Right.
Well, they saw the mistakes they were made, and they said, okay, trash it all. Throw it all out. We have 6 months to come up with a new idea and finish it.
And
We have to
this is
take-
and this is one of those, like, the reason why they have that 6 months was because they were already locked in. This is oh man, you gotta love commercialism. But they were locked into their deadline,
Release
or they
date,
had
their
release dates because they had promotional deals with like Coke and McDonald's and
Co-
stuff,
yep.
which is just in my head. I'm going, obviously, because again, it's a business, and they had made the deal. They're like, well, there will be a Disney movie for this summer, and you companies can use this movie. You know, we can promote the movie, and then we can promote your product. But it's crazy to think like, no, you have to meet that deadline because we have to sell this with promotional people. It just blows my mind that it's a thing.
Yes, that's insane. And that's exactly why they had to do this. This was about the money. This was about, I mean, the release. Like, everything they had, this was a red alert, like, this is Category 5 hurricane, we are in trouble and we need a movie now. And that panic, that freedom that they are allowed created one of the most unique films in the entire library of films that we have watched and
Yeah.
may watch from this point on. And that may be hyperbolic or praising this movie too much, but that's what we're here to talk about, Jeff, because the brainstorm session, the pitch was, I had the name in my previous review of this, but the pitch was a Chuck Jones style road comedy, but faster.
But faster. It's so funny to think like they went from a movie that was trying to be kind of like their recent-ish hits and trying to be this big, grand Oscar epic, and ended up going literally the opposite direction from that, but in essence make fun of those they in essence went, okay, we're not making a big huge movie like that, we're going to sit and make a little movie that kind of makes fun of those types of movies
In a way,
you know, like, and it worked. It
Yes,
absolutely works. No spoilers, guys. This movie
It
works.
It follows a lot of the formula of what a spoof movie would be, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it does not. But the problem with spoof movies, when I say spoof movies, oftentimes the first thing that'll pop into people's head will be stuff like Airplane or the modern Freeberg and Seltzer garbage films. Spoof movies as a genre traditionally lean heavily on pop culture.
Right.
That's what they don't just spoof the movie that they're sending up. They will lean heavily onto pop culture references. The most pop cultural reference in Emperor's New Groove is the river dance at the beginning of this movie, where all the
Oh,
guards are
yeah.
river dancing. And you say that correctly, Jeff, because it is not so obviously a reference that it takes you out of like, oh, that's a dated reference. It's
Right.
just people dancing in a line.
It's
That's-
people
that
dancing
is-
in a line, and I mean, Kuzco even does like a handful of different types of dances, but they're dances that are all over. He kind of moonwalks for a little bit, but he kind of does like a conga, and he kind of does just lots of little different types. So you don't even. Wow, I guess I never. I mean,
that's
I guess I
fine.
knew that, but it never stood out to me as many times as
And
I've seen this
that's-
movie.
And that's why I wouldn't consider this a spoof movie, although it does follow some of those spoof elements. This thing is silly to be silly
Yep.
and not for the sake of pop culture, which is
Right.
a detriment to one of my You know how I feel about DreamWorks Animation, Jeff. But that is the definitive problem with all of their movies.
Yep.
Is the pop cultural spoof, and that's not what this movie is. This movie is a classic mix of slapstick with a modern sense of comedic rhythm and timing, and it's almost 20 years old now. Like this movie came out in 2000. We're in 2017 recording this.
2018,
movie,
TC. 2018.
Oh my God, that's right.
But it is. You said it right. It's all about the timing. It is a self-aware. The movie is self-aware. It is. Well, actually, I don't even know
Fourth
if
wall breaks.
Yeah,
the
it's
fourth wall break.
because I made this note. One of my notes I made that why I enjoy this movie so much is because I like that it almost feels like a movie that was like pretend this was a live action film, okay, like the whole fourth wall breaks and the whole camera work. It feels like a movie that was made by somebody who didn't quite know how to make a movie, because like when Kronk catches Kuzco when he's inside the sack, when he catches him from falling over the edge of the waterfall, and the camera does that like dramatic like pull snapback and snapbacks, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere next to the tree.
Why are we looking at this monkey?
Yeah, like okay, and even our main character who is narrating the film, who in theory should know everything that's going on, goes, "What's with the chimp and the bug?" Even he doesn't understand what's happening in this. So it is so self-aware, but self-aware in the correct ways, and just.
Yes.
Man, the timing is so brilliant in this film. It is spot on. Every piece of timing.
There is an unlimited number of jokes in this film and every time I watch this, I hear something new I didn't hear before. But in the meta referencing, there's two in particular. Is and this, I mean, Deadpool set a standard for how to really capitalize on fourth wall breaks, but. Kuzco, as the llama sitting there once we catch up to the beginning of the movie, interrupts the omniscient narrator Kuzco by saying, "Hey, shut up! They got it. They just watched the whole thing. Go away." Like he's breaking the fourth wall to break the. That's crazy. Or like
he's telling himself to shut up. Basically,
shut up. They get it. Natasha on our Facebook page mentioned the fact that he has to stop the movie to take a Sharpie and go, "Hey, by the way, I'm the main character. This guy, not this guy." And he comes back in.
Because right there, that is one of my favorite things that this movie does. It starts leading you down a path where you expect a Disney movie to go. And just when it gets into that direction, it stops it with a joke. When the what is it? It's what is he called? The royal record keeper. When he comes out and he's talking. It's a big fat like jester looking guy, and he's talking to Kuzco about something, and then Kuzco's narration comes on, and we just dissolve away in mid sentence.
What's he talking about?
Yeah, like we wait, and you never see that character again. Like that's it. He's gone. Like he was. But that would have been an entire scene. Like in Aladdin or in Beauty and the Beast or any of those, and then like later on when Yzma's talking to him, and he's like, "What is holding this woman together?" And it's just
look at those wrinkles.
Yeah, we fall.
How long has that been there?
Which I heard something this time around when we go into that moment. When you hear Yzma talking, she's literally just going like blah 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 blah. She is saying just gibberish. She's not
scripted
even
to say blah 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 blah.
Yes, I had never caught that until I watched it this time around. That she's not saying words at that point.
I caught a joke this time that I had never heard before, and it's when Kronk has Kuzco and he drops him. He steps on the cat, right? And he stumbles down the stairs, and he goes back, elbow, shoulders. Because he's like, I'd never heard that before.
He's yelling out the parts of his body that he's hitting, I think, as he falls down the hill.
That irreverence, that meta humor is pretty standard now, and I have to credit this film for doing that, because this is a movie that has aged really well. It did not. This was not a box office success. This was essentially a bomb. At a $100 million budget, it only made $170. That's not a really big success, especially for Disney. A Disney movie opened fourth when it came out. This movie opened fourth the weekend it came out against How the Grinch Stole Christmas, What Women Want and Dude, Where's My Car?
In all fairness, I saw all three of those in theaters. I'm not even lying. I did at the time, at my age, when I saw those three movies in theaters, did not see this one. But in any moment of the day, if presented these four movies, I would
Yeah.
watch Emperor's New Groove in a heartbeat.
So that is a telling sign of the quality of this film and the realization of that quality over time. It was affected by the lackluster performance of the movies that came before it, right? We were in the downward spiral from the Renaissance and moving towards the Second Dark Age. The unfortunate circumstance of this movie not paying off is that it caused Disney not to take the risks, because this movie in itself was a huge risk that they were like, whatever we can make, we can make. You guys have carte blanche. Whatever assets we can save them.
Right.
But just do. In fact, the voice actors who were cast had already recorded the entirety of Kingdom of the Sun. They were in the animation mode for that point, and then to bring them back, bring Eartha Kitt and David Spade and other voice actors back in to re-record a movie in a completely different tone and style that they had signed up for that's a credit to the script itself, that those actors would come in and not just go through the motions, but give easily. Jeff, I think this might be the best voice cast of the
Absolutely.
library.
Absolutely. Because this is a movie where in the past, a lot of our in the past, the majority of our voice cast do not look like the characters that they portray. For the majority of the time. I mean, you do get a couple like Billy Joel kind of looked like his character, but it could also very been Bruce Willis. Like in my head, I'm like, it could have been Bruce Willis, as we discussed on that episode. And then I cannot think of the actor's name, but the guy who does the voice of Aladdin does kind of look a little
Wagner.
like it. Yeah, Scott Wagner. Like Scott Wagner from then looked a little like him. Yeah, I know Aladdin was based off of Tom Cruise more than anything, but you kind of get a little. I do kind of see Robin Williams in the genie. You know, you do get you get some characters that feel like that. This movie, if you put a picture of the voice cast next to their cartoon, you go, yep, that's them. I can see John Goodman. I could see if obviously they can't do it nowadays, but if they had gotten David Spade, John Goodman, and Patrick Warburton and Eartha Kitt to portray these four characters in live action mode, they would look like them. I'd be like, yep, that's Yzma.
That's them,
yep,
yeah.
that's Kuzco. Like you could see it. And it's their vocal performances are so perfect. The delivery is fantastic. Seriously, I was just gonna say, like, I love Kronk. I love all of them. They all do.
They're all
perfect job.
Yeah. And this is a credit to the script. This is a credit to the heart that was put into taking this gamble on a film like this. But it's also a credit to those actors. Eartha Kitt being a 60s celebrity, but David Spade being the lead and falling into that trope we have of 80s, I guess 90s now, 90s for sure, comedian, and just nailing it. John Goodman, David Spade, Patrick Warburton, these are comedic geniuses that you would never put on a list of comedic geniuses. Maybe you might slip John Goodman on a list of comedic pros, but the four of them just rock. And then there's the supporting cast as well, like Pacha's wife is wonderfully portrayed. What's that voice actress's name?
Wendy Malick.
Thank you. I can totally picture her face.
But it's a cast of actors, just like you were saying. It's a cast of actors from radically different eras of entertainment. Patrick Warburton, while I feel like everybody knows Patrick Warburton, at least you know his voice nowadays.
Yeah,
when they made this movie,
Warburton.
if anything, just from Family Guy. Come on, like that's the big thing everybody knows him from. But like when this movie came out, he had really done like next to nothing. He was
putty.
Yeah. He did a bunch of TV shows as like a one-off character. That's kind of what he did. He was a TV show actor. But yeah, he was putty on Seinfeld. But like, and on Dave's World was this other big thing, I think was the thing that he had done at the time. But he wasn't who he is nowadays. You could argue like, no, you know who Patrick Warburton is now. You've seen him in
And I think
commercials. He's done.
largely because of this movie that
Yeah.
proved his voice acting capabilities.
And then Eartha Kitt, one of the original Catwomen from the original Batman TV series in the 60s.
Yep.
You know, and obviously she had a long career of acting. I can't help it. I just call out Catwoman because that's what I know her from first.
Yeah,
You know,
it's true. It's funny that she turns into a cat at the end of this.
right? She literally becomes a Catwoman. I love it.
Oh
Which-
my god, is that what my voice sounds like?
A part of me wonders if that's not a kind of subtle like nod at the fact that
You
it's
know
Eartha
what?
Kitt.
For all the comedy of this movie, I feel like yes, that is certainly what happened there. God, Jeff, there's too many jokes to even like call out of here. But
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't even know where to begin. But like another joke that jumped out at me this time that I never really took notice of before is when when Pacha and Cusco get back to they just do the callback immediately to why does she even have that lever? Like we don't get to see him fall. That's brilliant.
Perfect joke.
Yeah.
Oh man, that joke
But-
is spot on. Always gets a laugh every time.
And it's not that joke that caught me this time. It was when she goes, looking for this? And they go, wait, how did you beat us back here? And Kronk pulls the map down and goes, that's weird because by all accounts we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Like literally the map that we watched them create in the previous sequence, he has now.
Yeah,
Well, and even in that same scene, there's like a lot. There's the whole movie. This movie is. I think this movie is. Is this movie PG or is this movie just G? I should have looked that up.
I'll look it up. You keep talking.
But like this movie does have This movie is fully accept. By the way, movie's fully acceptable for kids. There's nothing in this movie that's not kid friendly.
It's G. Yes,
Okay,
it's
it is
absolutely G. Yeah.
But there is still a very sly adult joke in that same scene we were just talking about, where she what is this? She goes to.
I bet you weren't expecting this.
And she lifts up her dress to reveal her leg, and they scream until she lifts it up higher to reveal a knife, and then they go, "Oh, okay, well, never mind."
Okay,
like, oh, that's fine. That gag, holy cow! Hey, kid's not gonna get that, by the way. Second of all,
Yeah.
dang movie, you went there, and it's still funny because it's funny for that joke is not a kid joke, by the way. That is not a joke that a kid's gonna ever understand, and I don't care because it's hilarious.
It's not inappropriate. It's still not. It's not inappropriate. Gosh, if you for those of you listening who may not have rewatched this movie,
Oh, please
which
tell me you
shame
guys
on you.
did.
Please go give this movie a watch. It's currently not streaming on Netflix, so I mean, you can
It is
watch
on
the-
Hulu, however, kiddos too.
Yeah, there you go. What's this movie about? I mean, should we? I mean, is it even worth explaining what the plot? You know, Jeff, I won't throw you under the bus. I'll handle it. Okay.
TC, what is this movie about?
Okay, good. Way to put me on the spot, Jeff. But I did write down a synopsis.
Wink, wink.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll try to do as fast as possible for the sake of comedy.
Oh, I like this timing, TC.
Emperor Cusco is a dictatorial menace who builds lavish monuments to himself because, as royalty, clearly no one has ever told this guy no. As evil sorcerer while attempting to poison Emperor Cusco only to inadvertently turn him into a llama, though one that no doubt at least survives. He teams up with a peasant man with a wife, a kid, and a baby on the way, and someone who Cusco shows no compassion to and is now attempting to ask for his help to get back to turning into a human. Hijinks ensue for a great majority of the runtime, and incredibly late in the plot line, our POV character grows empathy and learns the only lesson of not destroying other people's property for the sheer joy of it, while simultaneously destroying Yzma's property for the sheer joy of it. Because at its heart, Jeff, Emperor's New Groove is a reverse Beauty and the Beast with more David Spade.
It's true.
There you go.
Very nice, TC.
There you go.
Very
There's
nice.
a synopsis for you. And so we often will talk about whether or not movies are appropriate for kids. 100%. This
Oh,
comedy
absolutely.
fits in the vein of SpongeBob and Family Guy and Simpsons and all the modern style speedy comedy that you get now.
But
just
all
in
while
very-
being even more kid friendly.
certainly yes.
You know,
but
like
without-
all those shows. My
not
nieces watch
pandering.
all of those shows. You know, I love all those shows. But
Yeah,
but those shows do have a level. Even The Simpsons, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
do have a level of adult humor in them.
Yes, but that
This
is not to
doesn't.
say that this movie is pandering, because this
Oh, no.
movie is this obviously Jeff and I are fans. There's no doubt about it that we are fans of this movie.
I love this
But it's
movie.
because this movie hits so close to what I love about comedy. This movie is
Yes.
just 100% entertainment without sacrificing the heart that I keep coming back to, because there is a heart to this film, and there's a great lesson in this film too, that friendship and overcoming your selfishness, to not judge a book by its cover. There's a lot of the true Disney lessons and tropes that we've seen through the course of this entire library of films still in this movie. They
Yep.
did not sacrifice that just for the sake of this comedy. But it is 100% a comedic film, if
Yes.
not the most comedic film
And I
that
know
we've seen so far.
And I know we have talked a lot about the story. We've talked about the scripting. We've talked about the cast list, and all of those performances are fantastic. All that's done well. But the animation itself, just the animation and the timing of the animation, is no lie. It is flawless. The little things, the timing of the little things, like, and this is the one that I know a friend of mine at work and I have talked about this so much because it's funny and it's so well done and it's so simple. It's when they test out the poison before they actually put it in the drink. So they test out the poison on the plant. And when they do it, the plant, the sound effect and the animation of the little explosion of the plant sitting is this blackened like husk upright, and then in 2 frames, flat on the ground, just like it falls over. And it is perfect time. It is perfect comedic timing because it's that snap down, just hilarious snap down of a draw. It's so well done. The characters are fun to look at. You know, the again, going back to like the timing, the facial expressions in this movie kill me. So that is where I laugh 9 times out of 10. Kronk's face. Yeah, go ahead.
There's no inconsistency in even though all these characters are very uniquely designed, right? There's no inconsistency in their animation, right? Like, you don't look at Yzma and stand her next to Kronk. They look like they belong in the right, like they look like they belong together. Cusco and Pacha look like they belong together. They all fit. For scrambling to save this film, they saved as many of the matte paintings that they could from Kingdom of the Sun, and just repurposed them for this insane comedy. And they could have
so
taken
well
shortcuts, Jeff. They could have taken shortcuts, but they took the risk of seriously, you're talking about like facial expressions. Just watch the animation on the hands of these characters. I know that's a weird thing to point to, but just watching how characters gesture, watching the gag with, hey, hold your hand up and do this. What, is this some sort of weird,
Yep. and when he does that, he does like this little like twisting wrist like gesture while he does it. It's like you're just kind of like like you're trying to like okay, come on, like roll, like you're rolling your wrist around. He kind of does that a couple times, and that's a tiny little detail that is not necessary. He could have just brought up his clopper and just clopped it, but he rolls it, and it's that's fantastic.
And that's a credit to the animation department that they were willing to do this. Hell, the one of the big action set pieces in this is that they are tied to a log going down a river and bouncing off the rocks back and forth, right?
Right.
Now, we take that for granted that is something that can be done with CGI, no problem. Like, that can just be done. But that was hand-drawn. We were watching the end of an era of filmmaking, and I never truly, I obviously am a big proponent of 2D hand-drawn animation because I feel like there's more love and care put into every frame, and I feel like CG is getting there when you have the amount of tender love and care that goes into something like Pixar or other things like Illumination and Blue Sky. Yes, I give a hard time to DreamWorks, but even they have certain elements that work in their CGI. But the fact that we take for granted that every single frame of this movie had to be hand drawn.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The cart, Ponch's cart is CG.
Oh, okay.
But that's it. But
every
like,
frame,
not every frame. But like that's very traditional because that goes back to the whole like the cars are CG in
Company.
Thank you. That movie just blanked that title from my mind. But it goes back to that, or like Magic Carpet from Aladdin, and that's okay. I don't care, like, because it's a vehicle. I get it. Vehicles are hard. Plus, he had like sacks on it, and that's okay, whatever. Not something I care about. But the
Right.
rest of the movie being hand drawn. Also, quick fun fact: during that river rapid scene, when they're bouncing back and forth on the rocks, when they're attached to the log, every time they hit a rock, it's Kuzco that hits the rock. It spins, and he's the one that smashes into the rock.
Jeff, he's the villain.
He is
He's
the
the
villain.
villain of this movie. Eartha Kitt's Yzma and Kronk might be, well, Yzma is the antagonist, to be sure, but Kuzco's the villain of this movie, and he overcomes that villainy in the end. Pacha's the hero,
Yeah.
and Yzma even is responsible for saving Pacha's home. Like this is such an insane thing to think of, but when you break down the characters themselves, there's all these weird shades of gray. Like Kuzco is the villain despite being our protagonist, and he eventually takes a side seat to Pacha being the hero, and then they work together to save the day. Eartha Kitt, she's evil, but she's not wrong to take out the guy who's willing to destroy an entire village for a pool.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah, because really, besides the fact that she just wants to take over, we don't know any of her grand schemes. We don't know any of her big plans. Like, it's just she just wants to be in charge.
Lead a village, yeah. and Kronk may be a henchman, but he clearly has a moral dilemma every step of the way.
Oh, when the shoulder angel and devil shows up the second time, and we cut out to that wide shot of Yzma looking at him, and she just turns to the camera to Kuzco and Pancha and just shrugs because he's just talking to nobody. Oh my gosh, I love that.
The first time they show up is a great little bit where poof, my shoulder angel.
Where's the other guy?
Where's the other guy? He's doing his taxes.
Three things. Number one, look at that guy in that little frilly little dress. Or a string
It's a robe. It's a robe.
It's a robe.
Does he ever say the third thing?
I know he
second of all.
doesn't, because the second one he does the look at what I can do, and he does like the single hand push up.
What does that have to do with anything? I don't
No.
know. It's pretty impressive though.
Yeah, like,
Wait,
and then-
hold on. He's got a point.
All right, you guys aren't helping at all, so just be gone
Is this
or
entire
whatever.
Is this entire episode just us recanting our favorite jokes to this movie, or what?
Guys, I made a list. I wrote down every quote in this movie that I say on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
I mean,
that I use in normal conversation and just during the course of the day, not even when I'm intending on quoting the movie. It just happens.
wrong lever.
Oh man, I do Boom Baby. I do that.
Yep.
I
do
do
that,
the
yep.
no. I do No Touchy. No touchy. No touch. I do that one. The mission accomplished. I do that all the freaking time. Whenever I've done anything successful, I will pause and say that line. Oh man. And then the like two of the other ones I skipped a couple, but like
That's fine.
and that's bad. Like that one. And then the squeakers squeak. When I'm just trying to kill silence, basically I will just say squeak 'em.
This is crazy because I don't feel like you could say this about a good portion of these films or any animated films in general.
I want to watch this movie again right now, TC. Okay.
I would watch it with you just to quote the lines the second before they happen.
Yep.
Which, when you love a movie, you are apt to do.
That's what you do.
I don't mean just you, Jeff. I mean everyone does that.
Yep.
But this movie, you can just listen to it.
Yes.
You could or you could just watch it. That is rare. That a movie, the animation is so sharp, and the comedic visual animation is so sharp, and the vocal comedy is so good. Right? That's firing on all cylinders right there.
If they were trying to go for a Chuck Jones style animated film, they nailed it, because there are so many of those looks, so many of those silent comedic moments that are just Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and like it's
Oh,
that.
dude, the diner scene. We're in some ancient Incan civilization, and we are pausing to have a diner scene in the middle of the jungle where Cusco is a woman because
Yep.
lipstick, eyelashes, woman, right?
Yep, because Bugs Bunny did it,
God.
so why can't Cusco do it?
It's our honeymoon. How brave of you to come out in public. Like,
But like the menu scene when Yzma and Kuzco are just missing each other by like flipping up and
Yep.
down their menus, and then Kronk in the kitchen cooking, as in placement of the chef, and Yzma and Kuzco walking in and out of the swinging doors, like continuing to counter the order that the previous one just said.
that's vaudeville. That's vaudeville, baby.
That is a freaking Abbott and Costello bit. That is a Martin and Lewis bit. I swear I've seen both of those guys do that bit. And it's so well done.
And it's earned. Like none of the moments in this movie jump out as like, wow, that was weird. Because this movie freaking opens with a Tom Jones song, right? And it's
song guy.
fine. There's
Yes.
nothing about this movie at any point that feels out of character to the film itself. It never breaks its own rules. It never breaks its own style and tone and animation. That's oh god, we're just praising the hell out of this movie. Jeff.
And then one major thing, just one last thing I want to bring up there, that just from my notes at least, what the last thing I've got is because you mentioned that the fact that the movie begins with a song, and then according to the last song, it begins and ends with them. It's this movie. While we had discussed in Dinosaur or some of the previous ones that did not have music in it, did not have songs, characters did not break out into song, and how some of them felt like it could have used that in order to make the movie a little more enjoyable. This movie only has the theme song guy. Has the Tom Jones, and it's basically it's more or less the same song at the beginning and the end of the movie. No other characters break into song, and I don't care. Like,
yeah, it's not missing anything.
No, if it had songs, I think that would have ruined the flow of the movie.
Yeah, the best use of music in terms of like a musical number, I suppose, aside from that opening and closing, is the traveling by map montage.
Right.
You get the song is called Run Llama Run from the score, but it's that
Which feels very old school 1940s. Again, kind of.
Bugs Bunny.
It feels very Bugs Bunny, very Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny, and the fact that they're leaving the dashed and dotted lines and they acknowledge that
They
they're
look
leaving
at
them.
it, yeah, like what the hell is this? Yeah, this movie
So good.
is a breath of fresh air. It's not just a breath of fresh air for coming off a Dinosaur, unfortunately.
I know.
But this Emperor's New Groove is a breath of fresh air whenever you watch it.
Yeah.
It's strange. I don't know how you cope, Jeff, but oftentimes I always tell people, hey, if you're in a bad mood, sing a Disney song, because you cannot be in a bad mood and sing a Disney song, even the villain songs. Now,
true.
granted, if you sing Baby Mine or Jesse's song When You Love Me from Pixar, you might cry, but it'll be a good cry.
It'll be a good, well-deserved cry, everybody.
Yeah, I don't think I don't feel like you could watch Emperor's New Groove and not just smile, at least a
Yeah.
little bit. This is such a feel-good film. It's a therapeutic film, and it's in a very odd way, because for as grim and as low as certain times of our lives or times of our country or times of society, whatever, like popping in something like this, popping in an old Tex Avery cartoon or a Chuck Jones or a Looney Tunes or Animaniacs, or there's something so inherently entertaining about a movie like this that it achieves what it's supposed to do, and which is to entertain in a lighthearted way.
Right.
And that's rare. That's rare.
And and I don't know about everybody else, but I know for me, like, I was very young when I started watching Looney Tunes, like Bugs Bunny cartoons and Daffy Duck.
Oh, sure, yeah.
One of my first toys was, I think, a Bugs Bunny doll. I had a Big Bird doll that I carried around, much to my parents' dismay. But I do remember having like a Bugs Bunny doll, and I don't know. I don't know when I started watching Looney Tunes. I don't know who introduced it to me. I don't know, but it's always been a part of my life. So there is a part of me that wonders, because that's my childhood. That was my child entertainment as, growing up. And I still inherently love it. It's still funny. It's still entertaining. So I don't know if like you were saying, because this movie was so in a good way, trying to be like that, if that's the reason why I love it so much, because I see all the stuff that I remember, like my earliest memories of cartoons and entertainment, I see in this film. And
I think
it just
that's
makes
exactly
me happy.
why.
It makes me happy, and it makes me feel good, makes me feel like a kid again, kind of makes me forget about all the crap that happens in this world. And I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else in that sense, if that's why anybody else likes it, but I'm almost certain that's why I like this movie so much. Plus, it's just made so damn well. And yes, I said damn. I know I tried not to say anything like that, but it's made so damn well. And gosh, it's made so damn well.
I grew up watching Looney Tunes as well. I don't remember how I was introduced to them, but it was something that I fell in love with very young. The first two biographies I ever read were Walt Disney's biography in 5th grade and Bugs Bunny's biography called I think it was called 50 Years and Only One Gray Hair. And I read those. I remember going on some trip with my dad. We were in some gift shop, and that was what I wanted from the trip. I was like, can I get this? And he bought me the biography of the history of Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny. I grew up watching Three Stooges with my grandpa and my dad, and I love Jerry Lewis. I know you love Jerry Lewis. We've shared our love for Robin Williams, and all these very traditionally rooted comedians were very formidable for myself and as I know for you, Jeff.
Yep.
And that's what Emperor's New Groove offers, and still offering this very complex comedy, because I keep going back to this. There are complexities to this film. I mean, hell, the right up front of the movie, who's the first person that Kuzco blames? He's like, let me show you the people responsible for this.
Right.
And he shows Pacha first. He shows Pacha and goes on a whole tear on like, this guy, look at this guy. This guy's responsible for everything. And funny as that may be, that he's being his selfish Kuzco self, he's right. Pacha is inherently good. Everything about him is sincere and sweet and good. He has this beautiful family, this loving wife, these wonderful kids, another kid on the way. It's no surprise he's the village leader,
Right.
because he's so inherently good. And even when he gets mad at Kuzco and he gives him a good punch to the face, he's like, hey, oh my gosh, are you okay? Good.
Yeah.
Pow, right? And they argue, and they're this amazing team, Kuzco and Pacha. He's this beautiful character, and there's no one finer than John Goodman to voice this character.
I know. It's so perfect. It's so DC.
Is
Jeez.
Yzma and Kronk the best villain sidekick team up? Are they?
Oh man,
that's tough. Like, if I know this is off the cuff because I just thought of this now, so I didn't make a list for it. But when you look at like Jafar and Iago, that's a really good team up.
Yes.
Of henchman to villain, right?
Right.
And Yzma and Kronk are such a good team up of villain to henchman as well.
Right. It fits. It does fit the mold of how in the world did these two team up, and why? Like, you could.
Well, he's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot. He's a giant, like, late 20s muscle bound idiot, and of course Yzma, who's probably 150, was obviously shallow enough that the only reason why, because Kuzco makes that line that she trades him in, like, this is the new model that she
Every
trades in
decade or
for
so,
every decade. Yeah. So she's literally
So what is he?
just,
He's about late 20s. Is that right?
I didn't
sure.
I didn't ask.
like, the fact that she doesn't know, she just does it because it's an attractive man who I like to think in the past has not been a complete and total idiot, and she got stuck with him this time and was just like, ugh, All right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, maybe her past hench people or whatever were a little smarter than Kronk. Kronk is just this lovable moron. He's such a meathead, but he's not a very good villain.
Right.
But
he tries.
He tries. Like here's a great little thing about him is, or at least Patrick Warburton made up the song that he's done, and that led to David Spade having to have the additional line. Oh, come on, he's doing his own theme music.
I am so glad I was unconscious during this part.
Well, here's a fun fact about we talked at the upfront about this, about like the marketing and the money machine that is Disney. Patrick Warburton ad-libbed that song. Disney made him sign over the rights to that song to them.
Yay,
That's crazy.
Disney.
Yay, Disney. There's the machine. There's the mouse I know and love.
Oh, of course. It's like we don't want him selling an album of Kronk's new tunes. We don't want Patrick Warburton to record an album.
You could have called it Grooves. I mean, you missed your chance there at a pun. I mean,
That would have been too simple. And if you
Jeff-
know me at all, TC, I never
Yeah.
take the easy joke.
at this point, this whole episode is coming up spades.
Oh, that's a very good man there, TC. Very good man.
All right. Well, following that up, let me just address something real quick.
Okay, TC, go ahead.
Yes, this is cultural appropriation. That they set this film in an ancient Incan civilization, and there were no people of color in the cast. There were no people of color in the development of this film. It's worth acknowledging that, yes, that was a mistake on their part, but if I can go all the way back to some of our earlier films, there was no malicious intent in that.
Right.
And I actually think Kingdom of the Sun would have been a problem.
Because that's
If they
so
had-
serious. It was a
Yeah.
serious tone to it. See, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. This movie, that it does not bother me that there's nobody of that culture doing the voices.
Because it's
it doesn't
so
it-
removed.
Right. It's so removed. It feels like a play. It feels like, hey, this is just a bunch of people who made a quick movie one day. It doesn't feel like, well, we need to accurately represent that culture. You know, we're gonna be like paying all attention to the detail of the architecture and how things worked and how they did things back then, but we're gonna have a bunch of white people do the voice. Like like you said, had it been the original movie, that would have felt weird.
Yes, it
But
would have
it's
been
so
a problem.
this one is so silly and so goofy. It never crosses my mind.
Yeah, and honestly, being said, that yes, this may fall under cultural appropriation in that it's where it's set. I'm glad that it wasn't Kingdom of the Sun, and Disney will do better. They will do better. Okay,
Right.
and anyone who dives into a film set in an era, set in a certain region, just do better, and that's important, especially in this day and age. Appropriation is a neutral term, but it can be a negative thing. So just it was something I wanted to just address, get it out there, and now we can talk about the amazingness of where did those trampolines? Who ordered the trampolines? Those trampolines exist solely for that joke, and it is a beautiful thing.
Well, you could
I'm
have
telling
told
you, we
me
didn't order this trampoline. Well, if you had told me before, and then the cat
before I
hits it.
set them up.
Oh my god! And then and
Yep.
it's that comedic timing of her hanging there. It's that split second of hitting it, holding,
And holding.
then boom.
Well, and along that same scene when she catches the vial, and then they
Aha.
cut back to Kuzco and Pancha on the cliff, and she just goes, yeah, like she's just like laughing as she like flies past them in the background, but it does the whole Doppler effect with her voice, like just.
Where did the trampoline come from, Jeff? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because at that point in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
we have like 5 minutes of this film left. We have reached the point where it doesn't matter because, okay, somebody in that place had ordered a whole bunch of trampolines. It honestly probably was Kronk, honestly. It was probably him. But it's like, and it doesn't
now that
matter.
I have the power, I'm totally gonna make a trampoline room. Look how high these ceilings are. Yzma, get in here.
Jump up and down with me. It's fun. Put your hands up in the air. Whoa!
All right, but I still have 95 more monkeys to go.
My goodness. Because he's a little kid. Kronk is a little kid. That's who he
He's
is.
just a big lovable dummy.
Oh, and I love that. I love that the villain, like, I love that she gets smashed by Kronk, just opening up a random door, on the side of the wall, going, "What are the odds
Wow.
that
What are the chances?
lead me out here?"
That lamp shading is something that can be handled so poorly. It's like just to be like, yep, we just did this. It goes back to that. Hey, how'd you guys beat us here? I don't know. By all accounts, we should have. Right. That is such a great lamp shading is a cinematic term for those listening who might not know what I mean by that. Is where if something is so obvious that you address it in a film. And you because if it just happened, it would be like, well, that was pretty convenient. But when the movie says, hey, wasn't that convenient?
Right.
You have to, for the most part, you have to forgive them. Like, well, at least they acknowledged that was convenient.
But the thing is, with this movie, those types of jokes do not happen in the first 5 minutes of the film. They do not happen immediately. Like that, the trampoline gag would not have worked if it happened in the first 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right, because it's slowly the movie starts off like a normal. I mean, it starts off with the epic, big orchestral, sting and the thunder and lightning. So it starts off very dramatic, like the Disney movies we've gotten prior and even previous, just recently too. And it puts you in a world where you think that's kind of the world that we're going to be in, and slowly gives you these nuggets of, yeah, that's not exactly how things are. Yeah, no, we know what you think this movie's going to be. We're not going that way. Yeah, okay, we're not going to do that. And it actually slowly makes, you could argue, it makes Kronk, and all the characters, slowly dumber or goofier goofier as the movie goes along. So that way, by the time you reach that end sequence, it doesn't matter what they do. You are fully on board with it. You've bought into the silliness, and you don't need an explanation as to where the trampolines came from, or the coincidental fact that the trapdoor Kronk was sent down earlier, which for all reasons it shouldn't have led him there at all.
Should have let him there, right?
Apparently led him to that point at that exact precise moment. It doesn't matter.
Exponential.
Yeah.
The whole movie is exponential in that it's a constant one-upping of the jokes that came before, and it's a mastery. It's what sketch comedy should be. It's what improv comedy should be. It's and then, and then it's like, this is hilarious, and this is hilarious, and sure. If I want to give it, obviously we should be a little critical of this. When we catch back up to the beginning, and we have sad Cusco, it's a lull. There's a tiny little bit of a lull when he decides, okay, I'm a llama now. I'm going to eat this crappy grass. And you get Pacha saying, oh, he was a terrible llama. And they forgive each other. And then the movie picks right back up, hits 11, and just goes all the way to the end.
Right.
Sure, maybe it lulls a little bit there. That's your moment to grab something to drink.
Right.
But it's maybe a minute of that.
And that's the moment in the movie for you to go grab a drink and for you to actually breathe and be like, okay, serious moment, not going to laugh for a couple minutes. And because, after that, that's the next 10 minutes of the film or 15 minutes of the movie is just, like you said, at 11. And it's so crazy and so breakneck almost that it's kind of hard to keep up with it. If you didn't have that break, you would be mentally exhausted 2/3 of the way through that finale. And you may not have been as forgiving for some of those goofier jokes. Because they're like, this entire movie is just silly. But
something that, I don't know if you ever have this experience, Jeff, but when I watch something funny alone, it takes a little bit more to make me laugh out loud.
Yes.
Not that I'm not enjoying something that's funny, but it's a little harder for me to actually laugh out loud at something. And I certainly laughed out loud at this movie. And this is a movie that is all the funnier if you watch it with someone who also enjoys it. I would have loved to have watched this with you, Jeff, because I think we would. What anything that would have made us laugh on our own would have just been tenfold because laughter is contagious.
Yep.
And I just know we would have been in stitches. We've been in stitches for the past hour talking about this movie. So clearly, this is a funny movie. And the fans, and I think our listeners agree as well, because if you don't mind, I'm going to grab some comments from our comment section here.
Yep, go ahead.
This is on facebook.com/topshelfpod. If this happens to be the first episode you're listening to, you can hop over there. We always post before we record an episode and after we record an episode. We love getting into conversations with you guys, and you can hit us up there on Facebook or on Twitter. I'm at TC's Big Head. Jeff is at Random Bell. But
Yep.
from the Facebook page, Natasha, I mentioned this earlier. She mentioned the fourth wall break. She says, this movie is in my top 10, and I feel it's super underrated. Maybe it's because she loves anything that breaks the fourth wall.
Yep.
And then she has a little meme that says, that one time when the main character had to use a Sharpie to explain that he was, in fact, the main character.
Oh, so good.
Yep, 100%. Wyatt says, how shall I do it? Oh, I know. I'll turn him into a flea, and a harmless little flea, and then I'll put that flea inside a box, then I'll put that box inside of another box, and then I'll mail that box to myself when he arrives. I'll smash him. I'll smash him with a hammer. Brilliant. Brilliance.
Or to save on postage, which is my favorite part of that entire bit, is that after she laughs, she was, or to save on postage, I'll do this little easier thing. Like, it's because she wants to save on postage. I am a sucker for little lines like that so much.
In our movie Jeff the Princess Knights, Candace ad-libbed that line for her character Vesper.
Did she?
She ad-libbed that monologue. She paraphrased it a bit, but that is
that's
in
right.
The Princess Knight.
That's right. I do remember that.
Yeah, she says it about Chester. Easily one of the most quotable movies in the library, in Wyatt's opinion.
Yep.
And dude, you are not wrong.
Not at all.
Yeah, he loves Yzma and Krunk so much. He's not going to lie. The only problem he has with Emperor's New Groove is that there is not enough of those two. But I guess we'll just have to watch a jerk get turned into a llama in order to learn a lesson. Our moment of triumph approaches. It's dinner time. I can. We've obviously shared our love for Kronk and Yzma. I think there's just enough of everything in this movie. I'm not for. I can't think of anything that there's a lack of in this film, to be honest.
It is one of those
more than anything might have been too much.
Right. It is a very good balance of everybody and every character and the humor and the little sincerity moments again with like Pancha and his wife. Even though that has a couple, more tamer, regular kind of jokes involved in it. Kind of almost more of like a rom-com level of jokes is what's in that spot. But all the characters work really, really well. Like the kids work well for the little bit that they're in the entire movie. Night Mom, which I had gotten up and walked away from my television while the movie was playing, and I quoted that part, and I said the Night Mom right when they did, because I know when that happens in the I had a gosh, I could just I love it so much. I mean, the one thing I won't lie, the one thing that this movie did, like every time I watch this film, it just makes me want to watch the movie again. Now, I have never, as we've kind of discussed for some of the other sequels on some of these movies on this list, I've never seen the sequel, the direct-to-video sequel, Kronk's New Groove.
Right. And there is a TV series as well.
Right, The Emperor's New School. Now, the Kronk's New Groove, it's all the same voice cast.
I'm very tempted to watch it as well. I will be honest, it is not something that I've seen either, because you know how I feel about those straight-to-DVD sequels.
I know, and it also, it's the same, or it's an uncredited. It's not the same writer, it's not the same director, and there's a little bit of me that worries it's gonna just kind of be a little crummy and it won't feel the same as this. So a part of me kind of doesn't want to watch it.
And maybe one of our listeners has seen it, or maybe a couple of our listeners have seen it and can speak to its quality. So hit us up in any fashion that you wish. Jeff, are there any tropes in this movie?
So there's a moment where I got a little excited, but even though I know exactly what happens, I'm like, ooh, villain falls to death. Nope, that's a trampoline. That's right. That doesn't happen.
just subverting expectations left and
Right.
right in this film.
You could potentially argue that the protagonist has an animal sidekick.
Sidekick, yeah.
Question mark?
Question mark.
There wasn't any that immediately stood out to me. We don't know who
Yeah.
Kuzco's parents are.
Yeah, I suppose there's that.
Yeah, you never see them. He is 17 turning 18, which kind of sounds like that he doesn't have living parents. So
Yep.
he might be an orphan. That was the only one I kind of remotely came close to being like, well, that could be something.
Yeah, I think that is another credit to this film that it does not lean on those tropes.
No.
That there are no. However, I will say it once again that the lessons in this, the heart of this, is very reminiscent of a lot of the films we've seen so far. We talk about friendship in this film. They talk about again not judging a book by its cover, and the journey that the characters go on is not all that different from some of the journeys other characters have gone on to discover their true selves. It's just done in the most comedic way they possibly could have done it.
Right. I will say this though, I do have one theory.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there is a this is a one that I stumbled across recently before actually we got to this. I stumbled across this before Christmas on a video online, one of the many YouTube channels I watched, and I kept it in the back of my head while watching this film. And the theory is that, and this is a little weak of a theory, but just hear me out.
I'll be the judge of that.
You be the judge
Go
of
ahead.
that, TC. The fly that gets eaten by the spider, the one that says "help me," that is another human turned into an animal or insect.
Like Yzma. It's her last dude before Kronk.
Right. And
It's
the reason why, the support behind it is none of the actual animals in this movie talk.
Oh.
Only people
interesting.
who were turned into animals talk, which, yes, really is just Kuzco and Yzma. That's the only two that get turned into an animal. But there are other llamas. There are jaguars. Even the squirrel doesn't speak English. It talks squirrel. It talks the gibberish squirrel.
Squigums.
Yeah.
Squig
So that is the only other thing. Even the spider doesn't say anything. The spider just eats it. That's the only other thing in the movie that's not a human that talks. Now, yes, trust me, the reference is not lost on me. It's a reference to The Fly from the 1950s. I get it. I know
Yeah.
that. And I'm pretty positive that is what the filmmakers were going for.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about it.
There's
That's
no
exactly
doubt.
what they were going for. Yeah.
But it's an interesting theory that I stumbled across that could very well have been another human, which when you look at it like that, that is a crazy dark moment because that human just got eaten by a spider.
Oh, that poor spider. That spider actually looks quite a bit like a villain in Treasure Planets.
Oh, really? There's spiders in Treasure Planet?
No.
TC, there's a certain 15-minute sequence from the second Harry Potter movie that I do not watch.
Oh, don't worry. It's not actually a spider. Don't worry.
I don't believe you.
It's
Do
fine.
you know what I do believe, TC?
What do you believe?
Of all the movies that we have watched so far on this list, worst segue ever.
It's okay. That's okay.
So again, as TC has mentioned at the beginning of this episode, we've reached the end of our round 4, of our fourth 10 film series on this list of our ranking of these movies.
Yes.
So right now we have ranked from Aladdin until now. We have ranked the movies 1 through 9. Now we have one more spot on our list, and so far our number ones are very different. Actually, our entire list, except for last week's movie Dinosaur, every movie on our list is different this time around. We have ranked them completely different.
That's true. That's true. As people are aware who listen to the show all the time, we have mentioned it's hard to do this. Like
It
I
is
know we've gave us
so
the challenge
hard.
to rank films, but ranking films, there's so many things that come into play when ranking
Yes.
these movies, and that oftentimes what edges one movie out over another is just a fraction of a feeling.
Yep.
And these are just our lists. Obviously, we're not saying this is a definitive list by any means whatsoever. But yeah, let's see. What's a if you want to refresh me, Jeff? What do we have on our list? If you want to, even if it's just our number ones.
All right. So for TC, your list starting at number 9 and working its way down to 1. We'll just do it that way because it's easier.
Yep.
TC's list: number 9, Dinosaur; number 8, Fantasia 2000; 7, Pocahontas; 6, The Hunchback of Notre Dame; 5, Hercules;
Yeah, that's fine.
4, Tarzan;
You'll be in my heart.
3, The Lion King;
Yeah.
2, Aladdin;
Classic.
and number 1, Mulan. That was TC's list.
That is my list. Yes.
And then for mine, 9 is Dinosaur, 8 is Pocahontas, number 7 is Fantasia 2000, number 6 is Hercules, number 5 was Tarzan, number 4 was The Hunchback of Notre Dame, still love that movie, number 3 was Mulan, number 2 was The Lion King, and number 1 was Aladdin.
That's Aladdin. There you
So
go.
just a quick comparison, TC's number 1 was Mulan, my number 1 is Aladdin.
I did get a couple of tweets giving me grief for why I put put Mulan above Aladdin and Lion King. And again, it's just
It's a fraction.
it's a fraction of a feeling because I love Lion King, I love Aladdin, and for all the reasons that I gave Mulan the top slot was that again, just a reminder, it was this culmination of everything Disney had been trying to achieve for so long. And Jeff, you have Aladdin as your number 1 for
Yep.
for reasons.
Yep. Because it's partially nostalgia. It's also the timing and the animation style, and it's the performances and the writing of it. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that thought went into my deciding factor for this movie. You know, and like
Well, you did
and
ask
it's
me, yeah.
Wait, go ahead.
You've asked me first, so I won't
Yes.
I won't let you rank yours before you rank mine. This
It's not gonna change my ranking, but just go ahead.
I know.
Not this time, TC.
Coming down to this decision is not an easy task
Nope.
because Aladdin, Lion King, Mulan, a lot of these movies are. I mean, Aladdin and Lion King alone are straight out of the peak of Disney animation.
Yep.
Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, Little Mermaid being a part of that as well, of the very definition of what people think of when they think of Disney animated films, comes out of things like Lion King and Aladdin. I mean, hell, Lion King being one of the highest grossing movies of all time,
Right.
definitively places it in pop culture, in the zeitgeist of what you think of in terms of Disney and animation. And so there's no doubt about the importance and the strength of those films, which we discussed at length for each episode that we discussed them. But I have to go back to what I said about Emperor's New Groove being this important film in terms. It's entertaining, it's therapeutic. It touches on so much of what has formed my opinion of comedy. And it defies expectations. It subverts expectations in what a film like this should be, right down to the preview itself being so like, what is this? What is this movie? The fact that I can continually come back to this movie and find something new that I've never seen before, and as crazy as it might sound, it has aged better than nearly every movie that has come before it, if not the entire library of films that have come before it. And for that reason, I'm going to put it as my number 1.
Fascinating, TC. Beating out Mulan, huh?
Beating out Mulan. Now, because I can see Mulan has its importance in the culmination of everything Disney was trying to achieve. I've said it before, and obviously I just said it again. Mm-hmm. But there's something so special about Emperor's New Groove that I even though we've just talked for an hour about it, there's so much more that could be said about it, that it's the movie that I want to go back to, and not even begrudgingly, not even partially excited. I will probably watch this again tonight.
Yep.
Because it's just such a, particularly when you're sad, particularly when it's a dark time. This is such a joyful film. There's no cynicism in it, and that's so rare, especially for films that come out now. There's the. I've said my piece, Jeff. This is just such a damn good movie that I'm gonna put it in my number 1 slot. There you go. Fight me if you want.
Well, it's going to be number 9 for me, and
I'll kill you. Drink this. You're thirsty. You're thirsty, Jeff. Go ahead.
It's
Drink
what?
this.
Okay, but
Drink
if I turn
this.
into a llama, I'm very upset. Okay, I'm awake. So, what did I miss? Hey, Croc, you want to top me off a little bit there, huh?
Wow, weird.
So, TC, you honestly, oh man, I gotta change that. I wrote down that you put it number 9. Sorry, guys, I was making my own note and I wrote the wrong note. TC couldn't. You have honestly could not have put it any better. This movie just every time I watch it, I still laugh. I know this movie by heart. I still love it. I excitedly wait for visual gags to happen because I know they're coming and I love this. I want to see this gag again. I want to see the flower just poof into black and then collapse on the ground. I want to see. I want to, I want to see the old man get thrown out the window and him just like, sorry, but it cuts sorry off halfway through. And I know it does. And I laugh every time I see it. Every time I watch this movie, I enjoy it just as much, if not more than the last time I watched it. It is the pinnacle of great cartoon comedy, both in writing, performance, and just animation, like vocal performance and animation. Obviously, there's a lot of animation out there that does a great job. There's a lot of classic cartoons, classic Chuck Jones cartoons that like I love. That I still like, there's a couple Looney Tunes that I will watch over and over again repeatedly till the day I die because they're fantastic. But like this is perfect for a feature-length film. This movie had no business being as good as it is, in my opinion. Like this movie should have had a handful of moments in it that were good. Even a movie like Toy Story, which at the time this movie came out was 5 years old, that I love Toy Story. That movie has moments that are just fantastically comedically animated. You know, little things like, hey, anybody seen my hat? And the shark pops out. He's like, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. And he's, and Woody's performance is just give me that, like that. So is such a great comedic moment. But this movie is made up of an hour and 20 minutes of comedic, hour 18 with that one moment where things get sad in the middle, right before the end credits, or before the end sequence. But like it's made up entirely of those moments. And they all work and they all flow so well from one to another. And honestly, like if Disney had stopped making movies after this, like they had stopped doing animated films because it's like, oh, it's number 40, we're done, we've done 40 of these things. This movie both happily reflects on the history of the Disney animated films that preceded it, utilizes what they did, what they are, and then also has enough time to make fun of those tropes and make fun of those types of movies lovingly, like with open arms. And that just, it makes me appreciate this movie every single time I watch it. So having said that, it's my number 6. No. Sorry, I could not resist. I had to do that one more time. It's my number 1 as well. I love Aladdin. I love Aladdin. I love Beauty and the Beast. Those two movies. Now, Beauty and the Beast was our last list, obviously, but those are my Disney movies from a kid. That's what I think of when I come to Disney. And I had a moment where I went, this is my number 2, well before we recorded, like yesterday when I was watching this, just because the nostalgia of Aladdin kicked in. But this movie came out when I was in high school. Didn't watch it when it came out. Watched it years later. And still to this day, will happily sit down and watch it. And it makes me love the childhood movies that I had, the childhood Disney movies, because, but makes me love it more. Like I don't know how to describe it actually. It just
Isn't that strange that we both babbled out until we couldn't find any words anymore?
Right.
And that's
it
what makes this movie
Aladdin.
special.
It beats Aladdin because. Between Aladdin and Emperor's New Groove, if I had to choose, as much as I love Aladdin, Emperor's New Groove would go in. I would be like, yep, nope, I'm watching this one. If I wanted to sing songs, if I was in that frame of mind, Like if I wanted to watch and sing songs and kind of laugh and recite the jokes, I'd watch Aladdin. But if I just want to sit and laugh, it's this movie, hands down,
Yeah.
any day of the week.
And I'm with you on that. To finish off this era of films. I mean, it's what is it? 6 years removed from Lion King? Is that it?
From Lion King, because Lion King came out in '94. Yeah, it's 6.5
That's
years
crazy.
removed.
That is crazy.
Well, remember Aladdin. Aladdin in this movie, it's 8 years. Aladdin came out in November of '92. This movie came out December of 2000. It's an 8-year gap. That's
And
it.
This 10 films is a capsule of Disney animation history.
Yeah.
To go from some of the greatest animated films of all time, with something like Lion King and Aladdin, to some of the missteps with something like Dinosaur or Pocahontas
Right.
or Fantasia 2000. And then the stuff in the middle, Hercules just not quite hitting the right cylinders, and Hunchback of Notre Dame not quite getting exactly what they wanted to. Pocahontas being just too ambitious and not having the right elements in the chemistry.
Right.
There's such a wide variety of films here.
Well, we go from like the Broadway style films, like the animated films, to there's no music in this movie whatsoever, and it's not Broadway anymore. We want to go like traditional. To
Yeah.
to CG, with Dinosaur, to even with like Fantasia, which isn't a Disney, like a modern day Disney movie. That's a throwback to the old school Disney. Like it's 4 or 5 different types of Disney films in an 8-year period of time.
As well as being these wonderful representations in small ways of everything that came before, and giving us a look at the future to see
Right.
what's to come. Like we are nearing the end of the hand-drawn animation era.
Yeah.
We're about to hit a film just down the road that's gonna be the end of the Disney animation hand-drawn era until 8 years later when they dusted off for Princess and the Frog. And this was a fun block. This was a fun block of films. I don't know if it's because we've been refining this show as we've been recording it, or if it was the movies themselves. But this was an interesting 10, and I had a lot of fun doing this 10. I have a
Me
lot of
too.
fun doing this show in general, but yeah.
It was.
So
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you go
I
ahead.
have
No, you go
nothing
ahead.
important to say. I say nothing important. I just rambled for 10 minutes about why this is better than Aladdin. I think I said 2 things. I kind of blacked out. I'm looking forward to listening to the episode tomorrow and being
who
like,
am
what
I?
did I say?
Well, I'm curious once again to hear what the listeners have to say. I love getting the responses from people from how we feel, and your responses to the films themselves, and where do you rank your 10 in the 10 that we've watched? And I asked the listeners this, and I asked you, Jeff, without delving too much into what's to come, are you looking forward to this next set of 10 we're about to hit?
It's nice because with The Emperor's New Groove, because I know some of the movies that are coming up. I couldn't tell you anything that happens in most of them. Well, the last couple in this next 10. But we're hitting an era now where the nostalgia of me as a kid watching Disney movies is over. We have hit that point.
This past 10 even coming I think my nostalgia about halfway through this 10 we just did was
Right.
gone. I don't have any nostalgia for Emperor's New Groove, but it could be because it's just not old enough, or maybe
Right.
I was old enough when it came out to not be truly affected by it.
Right.
And maybe it's the more critical eye I have now, especially sitting down to be critical of a film, has changed my perspective on it. Which makes it hard to put it above movies like Lion King and Aladdin, is because nostalgia, it's hard to fight that. It's hard to fight that in movies, no matter how many times I see them. It just depends when I saw them originally that will often affect my opinion further down the road. So these new movies coming up, this next 10, I'm like you, Jeff, I don't really have any love based on nostalgia.
Right.
Because there's so much more recently that I've either loved or hated them.
Right. We're now entering that batch for me where, my opinion will not be tinted by nostalgia. Like, again, me ranking Emperor's New Groove, it beat out Aladdin by a little bit, but Aladdin's at the top of my list mostly because I love the film, but there's a chunk of that's because of nostalgia. It's because I watched that movie when I was 8 years old, and I loved that film. I saw it in the theaters. I owned the soundtrack on cassette. I listened to it over and over again. I watched it on VHS tape over and over again. Like, that was a movie, so that was part of my childhood. So of course it's going to tint my opinion a little bit. You know, like you, I am trying to watch these with a critical mindset, as an adult, as a person who's not looking at it from that nostalgia point of view. But it's tough. So us hitting kind of this new era of, because this is the era. By the time this 10 is done. Yeah, I will have finished high school, finished college, and been working in my career for 3 years by the time this film gets done. So it's a different part of my life where these are coming into play, and I've only really seen one, like 3 of them maybe.
I'm looking forward to this next 10 because as you know, I've seen all these before, but this next set I've only. Except for a couple of them, I've only ever seen once. So my opinion of them is rather fuzzy, and I'm looking forward to going back. But we're kicking off next episode with what's our first movie in our next set of 10?
Well, our next movie in our next set of 10, which will inevitably be number 1 in that list, but probably just by default, is 2001's. 2001? Yeah, I thought that in my head I heard 2011. 2001's number 41, Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Atlantis, The Lost Empire. And
is this the one with Michael J. Fox?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep. So you have not seen this. So you will have nostalgia just for the fact that Michael J. Fox is in it.
Jim Varney does a voice?
Yeah. Leonard Nimoy's in here too, but we'll get there. We will get there next week. So once again, if you want to hit us up on Facebook.com/TopShelfPod. You can also hit me up at Twitter at TC's Big Head. Jeff is at Random Bell.
Yep.
You know what? I had some tweets and I didn't get to them. I will save them for next week because they're more ambiguous questions than specific questions. But thank you everyone for listening and continuing to join us on this journey through film.
This 1-year anniversary journey of
Happy anniversary, Jeff.
Happy anniversary,
Happy
TC.
anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And obviously we will not be making it to year 2. But this year, again, we've only 16 more of these things to go, plus 17th this November, guys. Think of it that way.
Oh. Yeah, there you go.
So
does it come out this year?
Yep, comes out in November of 2018.
I think we will get to that one then.
We
Will
might
that
be.
Is that going to be? Is that Wreck-It Ralph or Frozen?
That's Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph
Yep.
breaks the internet. Okay.
Yep. So we this is gonna be a little weird of a year. So obviously we kind of knew going into this podcast that the first year we'd easily get through the movies, but this year we with some time off, we kind of pushed back a little bit and delayed a little things. So we're gonna be around for the first quarter of this year, and then we'll just maybe have to come back after the next one of these films comes out and do an extra
people
episode.
want. I mean, maybe people want it. I don't know.
I don't know if anybody actually listens to this show anymore. It could it could just be Lindsay's mom, which I'm okay with. Hi, Carrie. And
Thanks for listening.
yes, thanks for listening.
All right. Well, with that said, Jeff, thank you for this once again. This was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, TC, for joining me on this fantastic journey.
Yes,
that is
this
Disney.
was a podcast. We were the people talking, and this is a sign off.
Woo! Another podcast episode longer than the movie we talked about.
Oh my gosh, it is. It is. Okay. So everyone start the episode over. You throw this on at the beginning of the movie and listen to it while we talk through it. And then maybe some of the things we're talking about will line up with what's happening on screen.
It was all subtly planned that all the quotes we did lined up perfectly with the movie.
Oh,
now
man.
you all want to go check it out and see if they do, don't you?
It's like Pink Floyd over here. Pink Floyd.
This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.